This is only the 8th time I've pressed record. Let's see how it goes this time. All right, welcome to the weekend video. It's me, your host, Enda. I hope you've had a good week. So let's kind of get into this and see how the trade has gone and where we're going to go next. You all know where we're going next. You're not getting away with this one. You're not getting away with this one. That's the truth. Okay, so here is our euro-dollar count. This is the daily count. You can see we've got an either a triangle or an ABC flat. Or, well, it's probably at this point it's probably a zigzag. Yeah, 5 waves up in A, 3 waves down in B, and then maybe 5 waves up in C. It depends on how this goes. Really, it depends on how the next couple of days go. Really, we still have, you know, I've always been looking at this triangle scenario. Still a possibility. But I suppose I should err on the side of caution. This has always been the alternate count for a larger run up to about 128, 129. But when I start saying things like that, that probably means the rally has run its course. I'll draw your attention to this daily RSI here and MACD. It looks quite interesting as a fifth wave, or quite, let's say, reminiscent of what you'd expect within both a C wave and a fifth wave of a C wave. So we've got that nice lower high there. Still no sell-off. Why does everybody want the euro? Beats me. Beats me. I've got them in my pocket. They ain't that great. Anyway, the crowd is running towards the euro right now. Probably going to regret it soon enough. Okay, so let's get into the 4-hour chart. I think we could have a top of a 5 in. You can see 3, 4, 5 here. The alternate count is showing the larger degree 3, 4, 5. We'll go into the hourly. This is a 4-hour count. So this, if you concentrate here on the last move higher, you should probably look for maybe one more pop to complete 5 waves in wave 5. You can see wave 5 in green here. So that'd be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Let's get into the hourly count. Here you can see that fifth wave. There's wave 1, 2, 3. Wave 3 is a bugger. It's really not terribly impulsive looking, but anyway, it made the longest. You know, it's the longest leg of the rally so far, and it's we seem to be correcting off that as well. But I don't think this correction is complete just yet. First of all, I was looking at this low as the low of wave C, but it seems we've got an expanded flat wave B, and then we're falling again into wave C today. So if this is going to complete fourth wave, then early on Monday you should see a fall down to about 120.40, and then a run higher in wave 5 again. I'm going to have to remember that the camera's on me now, and I can't start picking my nose in the middle of this. That's one downside to actually having a camera on you. It's just, should have remembered that. Okay, so let's see. Wave 5, we're still there. We're still waiting for a top. Let's see how that goes next week. Okay, here is, I'll go to the daily count in cable. You can see, again, a triangle scenario. So we have wave A high here way back in 18, wave B low in February 2020. Looking for a wave C top over the last while. Then should fall into wave D and then E. So a continuing contraction in the price over the next few months anyway would be the outlook. We've fallen off the highs this week. We still don't have a 5-wave pattern lower, so I suppose this could go either way. I mean, we could see a flat correction in wave D, so that could be a 3, 3, 5. I still don't think we have 3. We don't have near enough of a decline for even wave A of D right now. So I would expect a kind of a drop into about 126 or 127. That'll bring us down halfway again. That's kind of about the pivot point anyway, about 127. If we go, well, let's get out there and see, is it? Yeah, it is actually. It's pretty much, we have a couple of swing lows, a couple of swing highs, or in around that 127 level. So you'd expect this wave A, if it's a 3-wave drop down into wave D. Let's get a wave D in there. Hey, and let's go all out. Let's put a wave E in it too, while we're at it. Wow, wasn't that exciting? No. So you can see a triangle scenario still in play. We're falling off a possible wave C high. Let's get into the hourly chart and see how that's going. Again, you can see that, well, that's the 128 level down there. That's kind of where the previous wave 2 was, but this 126.70, 127, previous fourth wave, that's kind of where we would expect either, yeah, the larger to be wave A. So that'd be wave A in green. Well, this could either go in 5 waves down in wave A, or it could go down in 3 waves. I mean, it's really up. It's up in the air at the moment. There's no real way to tell how this is going to run at the moment. My guess, you know, if this small trend channel that we seem to have filled today, if this is the basis that we're working off, it could be a 3-wave decline in wave A. If that's the case, so this may not be a wave 3 being fulfilled at all. This could be a wave A being fulfilled at the moment. So A, B, C down in A, and A, B, C up in B, and then 5 waves down in wave C of A. That's probably, I'll probably go with that tonight. It seems to be where it's definitely a 3-wave pattern off the high so far, unless we extend lower on Monday. So, you know, watch for that. See if we can continue lower in 5 waves as part of wave 1 or A, or if we've got wave A already done as a 3-wave decline. So let's see how that works out. That's cable. Dollar yen. Here's the daily dollar yen chart. I mean, if you're looking for the quintessential triangle pattern, this dollar yen has been it. It's been sideways to nothing. You know, we've been holding in around, you know, the 105, 104 area. A high of 110, let's say, and a low of 101. So I suppose 1,000 points over the last, call it 3 years. So if that's not a triangle, I don't know what is. So it's kind of oscillating around that 105 level. You can see that's kind of where we've found support numerous times. We've had these kind of real crash lows, flash crashes. They drop into about 104, 105, and then they rally again. Anyway, the triangle is still the only way that I can read this, and wave E of a triangle is the only way that I'm reading this right now. Okay, so here's the 4-hour chart. I hope this video is not going to be jumpy, because it feels like the software is running a bit slow. Here is a 4-hour count that I may have to change to tonight, given today's action. We've fallen again today, so, you know, fallen from grace. Always expecting dollar yen to kind of break out of its holding pattern that it's been in for God knows how long. Definitely most of this year anyway. Well, most of the last. Yeah, we've been oscillating around 104 for the last year. You know, we'll rule out the kind of crash, decline, and rally of the early March kind of, let's say, V-shaped recovery. that real spike, that real crash and recovery of, let's say, the stock market crash that happened. There was also a dollar yen crash. Anyway, ever since then, we've just been kind of drifting sideways and down. So I have always been kind of partial to the idea that this is wave C and ending diagonal wave C. Here's another interpretation of that ending diagonal. So it could be 3 waves down in 1, 3 waves up in 2, an extended 3 waves down in wave 3. It could be a triangle wave 4, and then we'd probably fall again in 3 waves if that's the case. If this is the way it's going to play, that we still have wave 5 to go. So given today's action, it kind of did fall against the current, let's say, short-term bullish count. So there was no real other way to count this, on the face of it. This spike rally we had, this real sharp rally we had on early November, that was promising. It seemed to be a pretty reasonable interpretation as an impulse pattern. But ever since then, all we've done is kind of, again, sideways in decline. So this could be a triangle within wave 4, and then we would look for another decline in wave 5, which is frustrating to say the least. But there's a light at the end of this tunnel as well, I think, and I think there's a pretty serious light at the end of this tunnel for the dollar in general. But it has been a long tunnel for the dollar. Let's be honest here. So anyway, today's decline looks like we'll have to shift to this alternate scenario here for 4 and 5. And then we look again for the end of this long, dark night in wave B. Okay, let's move on. Stock market. This is the chart I showed last night. That's not going to change since last night. The 4-hour chart hasn't changed either. So we are pushing towards the end of this 5th wave here. I think there's an ending diagonal in there too. So if we get in here to the hourly chart, you can see wave 3 topping out, 3 waves down in wave 4, and then maybe wave 1, 2, 3, 4 into today's low. Pushed a little bit lower than I expected or would have liked today, but still within the kind of that path for an ending diagonal. It seems to be an expanded flat wave 4, and then we move higher again, or a complex flat wave 4, then we move higher again in wave 5. We're going to have to leave this till next week now. And wave 5, I don't see much more than, maybe 3,400 maybe on the upper end. Let's change color on this trend line here. Make it a little bit more visible. Get rid of you. So we did have a very slight or short drop below the lower trend channel line or trend line there of this wedge, but still we didn't break the wave 2 low. So the wave 2 at 29,465, let's call it, that would be where we would invalidate this diagonal pattern or this wedge pattern in general. So one more rally, one more 3-wave pattern upside, and break out above 3,300, let's say 30,300, to end a diagonal pattern. Okay, next week is looking very interesting for next week. Okay, so the pattern in gold is just kind of chugging along. We haven't done anything interesting today. Just it seems to be within either we have wave B complete here, or maybe it's a running flat again, wave B, because we have a slightly lower high here to 1846 this evening. We still have wave A down. It looks to be a sideways consolidation in wave B, and then we get one more leg down. I'm looking at about 1800, 1806. That'll be the 62% retracement level, and that'll complete 3 waves down, and then we have a bullish signal in gold. It's been long awaited. That's the hourly chart. Maybe I should go out of it first of all. Yes, I should. 3-wave decline is what I've been tracking for, since back in August there, since we topped out. We had 3 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B, and it seems to be 3 waves down in C again. So we have a complex combination here. We have a nice impulsive rally off the low, and we seem to be tracing out 3 waves down into a corrective higher low right now. Gold is looking positive in the short, medium, maybe even long term. Well, I suppose that's how long do you depend, or do you suggest the long term is? I think for the next year, I would suspect that we are going to rally in gold. Obviously, it depends on how this pattern works out, but that looks like a corrective pattern now complete in wave 4. The only caveat I had on that was if this is only wave A of 4, and that was a little bit too much to swallow right then. So wave 4 done. Looking for a rally in wave 5. This should be a 5-wave rally again. And I think we should push out above, let's call it 2600, somewhere around there. Okay, let's move to the 4-hour chart again. You can see that nice note. Let's get to the hourly chart again. So you know the setup that I'm looking at. So if wave 4 is done, we're looking for a bullish higher low. And we have a little bit of a target kind of band there between 1821 and let's say the 1806 or 1800 level. If we find support around 1800 and we have a small impulsive rally off that again, that'll be kind of go time. That'll be a nice signal. But I think, you know, if this larger pattern is correct, now is a good time to start thinking about going long gold, especially if you're buying it physically. I mean, if you buy it physically, like through Gold Money or something like that, you know, what's a percent or two change from here? Okay, so let's move on. Crude oil. Crude oil is a topping pattern in the short term anyway. It looks like a 3-wave pattern up, given, or albeit a very long extended wave A. We have a 3-wave pattern wave B, and we are pushing to a top in wave C. And I've always been looking for this either wave 5 or wave C pattern lower again off this high. Depends on how you view the larger pattern. Okay, so here is it's a bit of a squished chart. I see that I'll grant you that. But if you want to see the whole rally in wave C in blue here, that's what I'm looking at. We have wave 1, 2, 5 waves up in wave 3, and then we've got wave 4, either as a triangle or 3 waves down in wave 4, and then a series of 1, 2s off that. It may be more advantageous to have this as a triangle in terms of the larger pattern, but anyway, wave 4 done, wave 5 is underway. So wave 1, 2, or you could look at it as wave 1 and 2. 3rd wave rally, 4th wave correction, and wave 5. We did reach a kind of was it about 6-month high this week or more, 7-month high. But the decline off that has not been very impulsive yet. It's well, there's no way you can really call it impulsive. It's a corrective decline, so it looks like we have probably one more little. Unless it's a leading diagonal, I don't know. You know, it's possible. At the moment, I'm looking at that 44 level as a trigger level to kind of indicate that we're turning off a top here. We may have one more pop in wave 5 of 5, so that's wave 5 gray. If you look at it in here, if we push that a bit wider again, you can see that we have wave 1, 2, 3. This could be a 4th wave correction, and then 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't think we make much more over that this week's high anyway. It's a top. So crude oil, let's get ready for a turn here as well. Let's move on to the S&P. Did I miss something? Gold. No, I didn't miss anything. Okay, the S&P here is, I seem to be just milling through this quite quickly. It's not usual. Here's the 4-hour S&P count. Move you along, get you into place. That's what happens after you. Maybe there's a way to stop this, but in MetaTrader, when you switch off after for the weekend, and then you come back on Monday and you open up MetaTrader again, all your labels have all gone. They've all shifted back. The timeline a bit was kind of a bit annoying, but anyway, the 4-hour count is calling close to a top. We have 5 waves up, complete off the March low. So we've got wave 1, 2, an extended third wave. Yeah, it was kind of you would call that a failed C wave, depending on how you look at it. In wave 4, but that definitely a 3-wave pattern in wave 4, and then an impulsive run off the low of wave 4, but we've just drifted to nothing over the last while. So these drifts into dead air space are a little bit concerning if you're a bull. So here's the wave 3 spike high, then we had an A, B, C, D, E, 4, and then we've had this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe one more high in wave 5. You would not. The fact that we've broken below the wave 1 low is inconsequential in terms of an ending diagonal. It's actually you could even call it an expanding wedge at this point. Now that wave 4 has kind of pushed to a new low today. But the fact that we've broken wave 1 doesn't really mean anything. We can still rally in 3 waves to complete wave 5. In fact, in a diagonal pattern at the end, or an expanding diagonal, or an ending diagonal, a traditional ending diagonal, you would expect a break of wave 1 anyway. So we just have to see how that plays out. It looks like a C wave down, 5 waves down in wave C, maybe an internal 4th wave triangle here, and then a spike to a new low. So long as this wave 2 level at, say, 35.94, 35.95 holds, most especially if we break 35.50, that's the kind of key level here in the short term. And I've mentioned that a good few times. So 35.50 would be the main short-term support. The ending diagonal is ruled out if we break 35.94. The top could well be in if we break 35.50. I'm allowing for one more push up to about 37.22. You can see that's where wave 5 in green reaches equality with wave 1 in green. We almost got there this week. Close but no cigar. So let's see how next week goes. Should be interesting. If we get a top right before Christmas, the week before Christmas, kind of reminisce or kind of bring you back to 2018, wouldn't it? No, we started declining in November there, didn't we? Okay, let's get back to silver. Here's the 4-hour count in silver. Between two stools here at the moment. I think we could be looking at one more low in silver, just like in gold. The degree of the wave count is a little bit different as well. But here is the hourly count. You can see, well, from the 4-hour count, you can see I'm tracking the low of a wave 2. Yeah, we have. There's a caveat, kind of a major caveat for silver. Not so much for gold, but definitely for silver. We have a 3-wave pattern lower in wave A. It could be a 3-wave rally in wave B, but this could also be an extended triangle. So we could have wave A, B, C, D, E over wave B, and then we get one more punch lower into wave C to break below 20 again. So that'd be kind of down around 17 or 18, where that pattern work would complete. at the moment, there's no real way of telling. The biggest thing in favor of that pattern right now would be the fact that we had this kind of failed C wave here where we didn't break to a new low to complete wave 2, but I don't think we could hold that against it either, because there's a few different ways you can view this. I'll show you one here, which I think is quite interesting. We could be talking about 3 waves down in this larger degree A here. It could be a triangle B wave, so it could be wave A, B, C, D, E, and that could be wave B, and then 5 waves over again in wave C. So, you know, there's a multitude of ways of viewing this particular pattern, all counting it as a correction. Don't get me wrong on that. All suggesting that there will be a rally, you know, pretty substantial rally next year, and possibly be beginning before Christmas or the New Year. Let's get into the short-term chart here, and we'll see what I'm talking about. So 5 waves up in wave 1, A, B, and maybe wave C underway, or you know, we might have to wait until early next week to see wave C. This again could be a running flat. It could be 3, 3, a lower high 5, and then we get a push lower in wave C. So 3 waves down, we have this kind of nice tight band here again between 2350 and 23 for a low to form in wave 2, and then look higher in wave 3. Now, I could call this 1 degree higher. It doesn't really mean anything in terms of B1. No, it doesn't mean anything in terms of the bullish setup. It just means that maybe we're moving. Excuse me. Maybe we're moving higher at 1 degree. Maybe we're moving in a pattern 1 degree higher. Excuse me. All right. I think we'll find a low in wave 2 next week, and then we should push higher into wave 3. Okay. Let's move on. We've got Bitcoin. It's a slightly perplexing pattern in Bitcoin right now. Looking for a top, but I'm always looking for tops, eh? After that kind of nice, that blow-off rally, blow-off top, I still think it's a B wave, and I still think we'll get wave C. Here's the hourly count. We moved lower today. We made a slight new low, but it's a little bit inconclusive. I would like to see, if this is a third wave, I would like to see a more elongated decline. So a nice, you know, acceleration pattern within this third wave. The fact that we've kind of continued further sideways and further lower over the last while, over this week anyway, and most of last week, that does suggest to me that maybe something bigger is brewing here. Most especially if we get a break below 16,200 again. That's the previous low of wave 4 in green there. So let's see how this one goes. We could be building a larger 1-2 pattern. We would need a pretty sharp spike lower in a third wave to confirm a third wave anyway next week. But you know, you can't rule that out. It could happen. On the other side, could we be seeing an extended wave 5? I think we've already got the extension, to be honest, but I'm watching that 16,200. If it breaks, I'd be willing to call the top in wave B in black there, and looking for an impulse signal lower into wave C. Okay, the FTSE, the wave 4 pattern. Ooh, yeah, we're pushing towards the upper end of that possibility right now, but still, if we get this in here, we still seem to be reaching a high. I mean, this is overbought beyond belief right now. We switched pretty quickly from this step lower, this step pattern lower, into a pretty vertical rally over the last few weeks. This seems to be overbought to the hilt. It definitely qualifies as a C wave. You would expect that overbought scenario to come in. So should we be looking towards wave 5 of 3 beginning next week? Let's get into the hourly count. You can see here wave C does have a pretty reasonable 5-wave pattern unfolding, and we might be building a short-term head and shoulders there off the high. Again, I've got a 4th wave low here. Always look towards that 4th wave low, 62.40, let's call it. That's 3 waves down. 62.40. If we break that level and we create another right-hand shoulder, then we're talking about wave 1 and 2, which I've been waiting for a while. I seem to be uber patient here. So that's the kind of head and shoulders pattern you'll be looking for off the top in wave C. So 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I'm hopeful that we get that. The DAX is rolling again. I don't really have much to say on the DAX apart from the fact that we are back here. I think it's more specifically a B wave top, because we never broke out above the February highs again, and all we've really done is gone sideways over the last 6 months. And this week again seems to be pushing a bit lower, so I'm hopeful again that this kind of grind to the upside. It could be a 5th wave, it could be again a diagonal pattern. It seems to be, we made a new high, but it seemed to be a very corrective looking grind to the upside, and now we seem to be pushing more impulsively lower. So let's see if we can make a next week could be a very exciting set of impulse patterns across stock markets. And now we've got the Nasdaq. Before in the Nasdaq, we declined pretty. I mean, you can call that an impulse drop pretty easily, but then again, you could call the one that happened in November an impulse drop. But to my defense, we have been tracking another ending diagonal in a 5th wave in the Nasdaq, and we seem to have spilled out impulsively right out of the spout of that diagonal pattern. So we grinded higher in 5 waves. The 2 trend lines met, and then the price basically spilled out of it like a spout this week. It looks like we have 5 waves down done. This could be wave 1 complete. I would expect a little bit higher maybe in wave 2 if that's the case next week, and then we move lower into wave 3. And again, we seem to have this kind of picture building that maybe we're moving towards a turning point again. This was very similar to what was happening in February, where we had a succession of momentum rotations, let's say, momentum turns, grinding markets to the upside, and then immediately, the end of February came in, and what was it, 19th or something, the 19th or 20th of February, and the market just, it broke like someone whipped it. Maybe we're pushing that way again. I think that's it. It's going to be an interesting week next week, I think. Definitely keep an eye for some sort of a top in the S&P, some sort of a top in the Dow. One final push maybe. I was looking at that 37.22 level in the S&P. If we create some sort of a pattern like we have here on the Nasdaq, out of the top of the Dow, out of the top of the S&P, that will be incredibly interesting in my mind. Now, I cannot discount either the idea that maybe we already have a top in place, and maybe this 5-hour decline is not wave C, it could well be wave 1. So let's keep that in mind too. I'm going to be cautious, and I'm going to be cautious and call a top next week. Okay, I think we're done. Enough chatting on my part before my voice turns into a frog, but before a frog jumps out of my throat. Again, thank you all for being with me during the week. Thanks to all the website subscribers. All you guys are awesome, and gals. Send me an email if you have any questions. You can find the email on the website. And have a great weekend. We're rolling into Christmas now. This is, again, awesome. Thank God for that. I'll be glad to see the back of this year, but who knows what next year will bring. It may well be even worse. Crickets. Okay. Have a great weekend. God bless. Be good. And we'll see you on the flip side.